Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. Today we are reviewing Spiral from the Book of Saw. I am going to discuss some spoilers, so if you haven't seen it yet, step away now, come back later. So Spiral from the Book of Saw is I want to say reboot, but yeah, I'm going to say reboot. It's a reboot of the Saw franchise, despite only rebooting like a year or two ago. And this time it is Chris Rock as the main character. He plays Zeke Banks, who is a lead detective, and he's essentially given the case of a copycat jigsaw killer. This is set several years after the whole Saw franchise has happened. Feels like there's been a few copycats in this world, and this is just another one. And it totally takes on the perspective of the police angle of it, which is very unusual for Saw, but not a million miles away from what they've done before. They have explored police corruption with certain characters in previous movies, and it's not the first time that they've got woke, if you will, because there was, I believe it was Saw 6, was all about health insurance and things like that, and actually I thought that was one of the better Saw movies. So when I heard that that was potentially a path they were going with Spiral, I was quite happy to hear that. I think it's a good franchise to do that sort of thing with, to pin home a message. Must admit, perhaps I'm not the best person for this review. I am quite a big fan of the Saw films. I know they're not brilliant. They do have a lot of problems. They are heavy on gore. I can't help it. I do like them. If anyone was to come up to me and give me like a huge list of why they're bad, I wouldn't probably be able to disagree with any of them. It's very much a guilty pleasure for me, but I will try and stay balanced in my approach towards this movie. I did want to like this movie, and I feel like I did. I really did come out of the cinema having had a good time, enjoying myself, and a lot of that, I must admit, was just being back in a cinema. That was great. It did feel good to do that and just feel like the world is returning. I did let this film wash over me, so I could see problems, but because of the experience I was having, I was just like, I don't care. I just don't care. Just happen. Just do whatever. They kind of got a free pass out of me, if I'm being honest. But with hindsight, now I'm seeing holes like the whole way through, but I did still enjoy it. The cliches didn't really bother me, if I'm being honest, because I kind of felt like the movie knew what it was doing with them, if that made sense. They knew they were playing into that 90s cop thing where everyone wears the badge on a chain around their neck and rolled up sleeves and sweat around their neck and stuff. Yeah, I felt like they knew exactly what they were doing. They were totally playing into that hand. I think what I liked was the new perspective, the idea that it's coming from the police rather than from Jigsaw's angle or what the victim's angle is. Although, yes, police members become the victims, I still just preferred that it stayed within that precinct. It was very, investigating.
Hello, IT? Have you tried turning it off and on again?
The investigation wasn't very deep and they had a lot of problems with it. I just liked that aspect to it, that they were looking at it from a cop's perspective. What do we know about Jigsaw? What's his motive? Where are the previous locations the killings have happened in the past? What sort of shady past has his victims got? However, having just binge-watched Line of Duty, which is a police show that is incredibly procedural, not always sure if it's completely accurate itself, but it's a lot more on the money than Spiral, I can say that much. They have no understanding of how a police system works. I mean, I know I'm English and this is an American police station, but I don't think it's too different. At the start of the movie, Chris Rock is taking part in this undercover cop role, and it gets shut down because his precinct didn't know he was doing it. Do you have any idea how much paperwork, fake identities, and hiding and, location changing goes into being in undercover? Chris Rock just does it by himself, apparently. When there's evidence, do they wear gloves? Do they? Fuck. They just pick that thing up and just slim it on a desk. They even take their time to mention that one of them could be a potential bomb. And I think Chris Rock just goes, it's not a bomb. Okay, fucking, did you sense that? What do you mean it's not a bomb? It could be a bomb. He has a point. Why are we just picking this up and slamming it on the desk? What? That's where the film just falls over itself. Do you know what I mean? Like, so unnecessary, so easily fixed. I feel like you should notice that when you are reading through a finished script and going, problem. Should we maybe we should work that out before we film it, you know? But I guess they stuck to this tradition of Saw movies just sort of being churned out, you know, one every year. And I think that is where the problem resides in this movie. I think Chris Rock does bring a real fresh take to this. Even him just being in it, Saw doesn't really offer high caliber actors. And here we've got Samuel L. Jackson, we've got the guy from The Handmaid's Tale, Chris Rock. Like, this is a good cast. And that alone does seem to elevate it quite a bit. It does seem to have an impact. They're familiar faces that you already have connections to, regardless of the characters that they play. But they stayed with the director, Darren Lynn Bousman, who's done about 3 or 4 of the Saw movies. And I believe it was the same writers as Jigsaw, which I think is I enjoyed it, but I don't like the writing of it. That ending is just no. And I think one of my biggest complaints with Jigsaw was the writing as well. I'm just not a fan of these guys as the writers, and I don't have anything against Darren Lynn Bousman at all. I think some of the Saw movies he's done have actually been really good, but I just feel like it's a strange move to have Chris Rock's fresh new idea, but still using essentially old equipment, if you will. I'm sorry if that sounds rude, but it kind of paints my picture. It feels a bit flip-floppy doing that, and I actually think it translates to the movie. I don't know why you wouldn't go with a new writer, a new director. You know, really, if you want to reboot this thing, go all in, push all your chips forward. And we're going to get to who the killer is. And I'm not even just saying this to boast. When I saw the trailer like a year ago, I had a theory that it would be the rookie cop, and what's going to happen is he'll die in a fake trap, because several other Saw movies do have that running theme of fake trap for the person it actually is. So I figured he'll die in a fake trap, and then, you know, we'll be led to believe he's dead. And right at the end, he'll have a black hood on with the red velvet inside, and he'll unhood himself, and dun dun dun. A whole year later, here I am watching the movie, and basically that exact thing happened. That's not good. Real reason I actually leant towards him was looking at the cast. He's the only real likely candidate. Why would you have the guy from The Handmaid's Tale play the rookie cop? It doesn't feel like a very big role, and yet you've given it to quite an up-and-coming actor. And I'm guessing there's going to be sequels of these, so, you know, keep him around and he can be the new Jigsaw. I just thought it was shouted at me from the rafters, if I'm being honest. And actually, that brings me to another point, the traps. I did think they were pretty cool and pretty, you know, gnarly, nasty shit. But again, when I got home and started thinking about it, I was like, they were kind of inescapable. A lot of them are pretty inescapable. The hot wax one, the options are you can die or you can die. That one I don't understand at all. I thought that trap was terrible. That doesn't make any sense to me. How is that one escapable? I think the best one was the finger trap, actually. I felt like that one had the most sort of Saw-iness to it.
Is this a word?
It feels like Saw, is what I'm trying to say. Also, on the hot wax one, that trap takes place in the precinct. So, how did he get that equipment into the precinct without anyone noticing? And just have it like readily available? And isn't it taking place in the evidence room? Isn't that like a room that's used regularly in a police precinct? I imagine someone would have just walked in and caught him setting that thing up. This is what I mean. This is the problem with this movie. So much of it is based on pure convenience, and it does pull you out of the film, which is annoying because it's unnecessary. Another week with the script, fixing things like that, and this film could have been an 8 or a 9 for me. Honestly, there was no reason for it not to be. But because of these silly trips and stumbles, it becomes such an average movie. I would gladly see more of these, but you do have to improve. You do have to fine-tune these things. Your audiences aren't idiots. Guys, that's about all I can really say on Spiral. I did enjoy it. I think my height of enjoyment was actually just having the world be normal again for a moment. So for me, Spiral, the Book of Saw, is a 6 out of 10. Thanks for watching this review. If you could leave a like, comment and subscribe, I look forward to seeing you on the next one.